Okay.
Chicka, chicka. Yeah.
Kill Bill and Rev. We don't suck. Ooh. That's your NPC laugh from now on.
It is.
Yeah, like someone comes over to you, they're just asking like, "Oh, how was your day, Rav?" And then it like cuts to you, and you're not actually talking. You just have a text bubble under you, and you just like, throw your head back. That's you.
But then the text I'm saying doesn't actually match the laugh. It just says like, "My wife left me."
Exactly. The whole village is dead, and my wife left me. I love every time I think of like these NPC jokes that we make, like it makes me think of Zelda Ocarina of Time because they had the most like static, like characters that would just have one repeating thing. Like I just think of that big burly dude who was all like about building stuff in Kakariko Village, and you walk up on him, he's just like, "Arr!" And he's just like throwing his head back. That's me. That's how I be feeling on the daily. How you doing, Rev?
Not too bad, thank you. How have you been, bro?
I've been good, man. I've been saucing, swagging, collecting the clout. You know me, man. SoundCloud rapper shit. Hey, here's a question for you. Does it bother you when people say you're a SoundCloud rapper?
Yeah, because like we've been doing this before SoundCloud, and SoundCloud isn't even our main platform, and that's not where most of our plays come from. Not even close, you know?
Yeah.
So it is weird to me, especially because these days, SoundCloud rappers are bunched in with like a very specific sound. Obviously, not just anyone who raps and is on also happens to have their music on SoundCloud.
Right.
So it bothers me in that way. And plus, especially when I feel like I came before a lot of these SoundCloud rappers. I feel like Vicodin really predates quote unquote SoundCloud rap. And yet also it's funny to me because I feel like a lot of SoundCloud rap is like Vicodin.
Yeah, I think Vicodin's a little different than a lot of SoundCloud rap though because of the layered.
I mean, I'm talking about content.
That's but I mean even content wise, like I think it's kind of got a layered thing going on to it because like if you just listen to it without actually looking into the lyrics at all, you think it's just like an ode to getting high on Vicodin and not like really noticing that it's like torturing you and ruining your life. And I guess a lot of SoundCloud rap is kind of like that, but it's not as like layered.
Yeah, Vicodin, take you every time before I go in. Don't understand relations, I've no friends. I'm so high, so I'm so dim. On the sofa sitting high again, staring to the mirror, high the end. A constant thought, will I die or win? Tylenol, Klonopin, Vicodin. Yeah, stumble through the bathroom, vomit on the floor, vomit on the walls and some vomit on this door. Blood on this handkerchief, tears on this shirt. A pad and pen to note down all the years that I've been hurt. These pills that make it work, they drown all the pain. Now they put me to sleep and for a day or two I stay out. Don't understand people, they don't understand me. You put a smile on my face, so I guess I'm happy. Yeah, vision blurry and my hands feel dry. My legs are shaky and I slur. Man, I can say a fucking word. These people think they know me when I do not know myself. They act all worried about my health, but I don't feel compelled to care about their caring. Self-centered and I'm selfless. I'm just a waste of space then. No wonder I feel helpless. Yeah. Vicodin, I love you. You're the only one that takes the pain away, as cheesy as it sounds. Yeah, Vicodin, take you every time before I go in. Don't understand relations, I've no friends. I'm so high, so I'm so dim. On the sofa sitting high again, staring to the mirror, high the end.
I don't know, man. It's an old song.
Yeah.
What about you? Do you feel like weird? I mean, it doesn't really affect me, but it kind of bothers me. I wonder if it bothers you though.
I mean, I don't think bother is the right word, because I see it all the time, and I don't think people mean it when they say it. I don't think they're making fun of us. It's usually like they'd be like, "That's my favorite SoundCloud rapper," and I think that what they mean is like, "That's my favorite rapper that is on the app SoundCloud." You know what I mean? Or like at this. But my thing is this is like, how could you be a younger like modern rap artist and like not have a SoundCloud page in 2018. Like, I don't understand. Like, I understand like if you're going through a label or if that's really not your scene, but like, I guess with us, like our thing is like everything's free. That's kind of been our like thing of like, you know, you could donate if you want, but it's free download. You know what I mean? So the way I look at it is if it's free, put it on all platforms for free. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
like you know.
To me, it's also, we've been around before SoundCloud and we're going to outlive it. So I hate you shouldn't grab a website name and attach it to an artist and be like, oh, they're a MySpace rapper, they're a YouTube rapper, they're a SoundCloud rapper, because I feel like maybe with certain people where that's their exclusive platform and that's how they blow up, maybe in those instances, it kind of makes sense to do that. But I don't think it makes sense in our case. In our case, it's kind of like, nobody calls Open Mike Eagle a SoundCloud rapper, and yet we're not that different. We've got music on SoundCloud, but we primarily release through Bandcamp, and we also have got shit distributed across streaming platforms, right?
Yeah. I think a lot of people though would consider like Mike Eagle to be a Bandcamp rapper. Like a lot of people, and I don't think so. I don't think that, but I have heard that used before. Like being like, oh, he makes music and he releases through Bandcamp. He's a Bandcamp rapper, which is kind of strange to me that we're not kind of lumped in with that scene more. I guess because it is different. We do make different music than them, but I think we're much more like someone like Mike Eagle than Ghost Main or like Little Pump or like, you know, all these dudes. Also, that's another thing, like Little Pump. I understand why they like call him a SoundCloud rapper because it kind of fits that sound. But I mean, like, he has a SoundCloud, but like, I think he gets way more plays off of YouTube and Spotify and whatever else he has.
As a label, the SoundCloud rapper thing will die eventually because the platform has not evolved in the past, I don't know, over half a decade at this point.
Yeah.
So, Bill, what are we going to be talking about today?
Well, I was thinking about talking about the government.
Actually, why don't we talk about how this might be the last episode that you'll be appearing on because the hurricane is going to kill you.
That's right. The hurricane's coming. Well, actually, by the time this was released, I'll probably be dead. So
you will be, but it's okay because I'm editing it, so that's all right.
You're just going to make a Frankenstein out of my voice clips that you've collected to keep the podcast going, but like it's only bonus episodes, right? So it'll be like it'll come on and you'll just have all the like weird shit you've cut out of episodes just like ready to go, you know?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm really hoping for. Like you'll be like,
Bill, what's your favorite pizza topping? And then I'll like copy paste episode 1, foreskin.
That's what I'm thinking. But yeah, no, the hurricane is coming. What's it called? Hurricane Florence, right? I think that's right.
It is Hurricane Florence, correct?
Yeah, Hurricane Florence is going to be the thing that murders us all. Honestly, they're acting like that it's not actually supposed to hit here so bad, but it's going to hit more like the North Carolina border. You know, I'm kind of near Charleston.
Did they tell everybody to like evacuate or some shit though?
They did, but then they reversed it for our county. They were like, you don't have to evacuate. You'll probably be okay.
Okay.
But the thing is like I was here for Hurricane Matthew, and that was a hurricane category 1, and like, honestly, that kind of freaked me out a little bit. Like I remember being in the house. I just got like this new computer and I was just playing Skyrim. Like I was just binging Skyrim while like we didn't have internet or anything. It got knocked out, but like we still had power. And I don't remember why our internet was down though, but like I guess the phone lines were all messed up.
Or maybe the reason you guys had some electricity is did you have like an engine running or?
No, we didn't have a generator. We had a generator. But then, but we didn't have to use it yet. Like it hadn't gone out at that point. And so I was sitting there just binging Skyrim, and I could hear the wind, and it was just like whistling by, like woo. It sounded like my eyebrows in the last episode, and just wow. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Them dubstep eyebrows. But yeah. And it was pretty scary. I remember walking out in it, and it was like the winds weren't anything crazy. That was a category 1. I would say they weren't anything crazy. They didn't knock me down or anything, but it was still like, well, this is intense. You know what I mean? Well, this is supposed to be a category 4. So
I'm gonna miss you, Bill.
R.I.P. me. Dude, honestly, dude, if it doesn't hit us, we'll probably get crazy wind anyway. You know what I mean? Because it's a pretty big storm.
I got crazy wind. Dude, you know what I mean? like a.
So yeah, how does it feel to be the only member of We Don't Suck?
You know, in a way, I've always felt that way anyway.
That's just like my dad used to say. He used to sit me down and say, "You're gonna die in a hurricane one day, boy."
And you were like 3.
Exactly. My dad is actually kind of hilarious. Like, one of the things he taught me at a very young age was like never fry bacon naked. Like, he just told me that, and like that's okay. Like, real shit. I was frying bacon the other day shirtless. That's a mistake.
That's not a steak. That's a Miss Bacon. I hope the hurricane takes me away as well.
To where? To hell?
Well, Bill, you know what? It'd be nice if you could just shut the fuck up now and we move on to the next section. The next section is the section where wait, did we talk about you dying? Yeah, we did.
Yeah, no, we talked about that. Ask me about my day yesterday.
Bill, tell me how your day went yesterday.
It was all right, I guess.
Oh, yeah?
Yesterday I went to Columbia to go see the classic anime movie Perfect Blue in theaters.
It's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, it is. I kind of forgot how good it was. Like, I mean, I knew how good it was, but I hadn't seen it in about 2 or 3 years. And
right.
Like last time I watched it with my girlfriend, and she had absolutely no idea what she was getting herself into when she was watching it. You know, I didn't like sit her down and be like, "We're about to watch some shit." You know what I'm saying? Because it's a pretty heavy movie.
Yeah.
Pretty psychological. But yeah, it was crazy. We went out there, went to Columbia, and I got a whole bunch of nostalgia from the old Ramona days. Being in Columbia, we actually went down to the Minkoi Ramen House where me and Rav used to frequently.
Shouts out to Minkoi.
Yeah, dude. That's a bar from Chinatown. That's actually about a place in Columbia, South Carolina. It's the Minkoi Ramen House. You might catch me lurking in there eating salmon rice balls and chicken ramen. So
yeah, I miss that place.
Yeah, it was cool. It was pretty much like the same people were working in there, which is tight because I hadn't been there in a few years. So, or like a year maybe, I don't know. I'm bad with time.
How did it feel sort of revisiting the same area, you know, where we spent the summer recording Ramona?
It made me miss it, man. Like, it was at night, so I feel like I couldn't quite enjoy it. Like, you know how it is, like sunsets in Columbia were always really sick. But it really made me miss it, just living there. Like, I don't know, I want to end up there eventually, because I really miss living there, especially when we were together there. It was like a really good time. I mean, you remember, we were always doing some kind of dumb shit. And,
right, and it's also looking back at it, thinking about it, having, you know, spoken with Matt, it's crazy to think he was in college the same time as we were recording Ramona, and then we finished recording and we drove around near the college he was at the same time when we were just blasting the music.
Yeah.
And then less than a year later he discovered our music, or about a year later he discovered our music.
Yeah,
like,
that's
Columbia.
pretty crazy. It is pretty crazy. I feel like that kind of makes it hit home a little bit more, because like I think part of it is like he knows, because there's like references like I'll drop and you drop in there that are like very like landmark references to like the city and shit. And I don't know. It was just a special time, and I feel like all of our lives, you know, I don't know about him, but I assume that he remembers being in Columbia fondly. I mean, I'd listened to their podcast and they talk about it a lot. You know? So
why don't we take a step back a little bit and sort of go over how Ramona happened in the first place?
Well, I mean, I had started recording some songs for Ramona before it was even called Ramona. It was just me recording songs. I was trying to put together, I don't know if you remember, but there was this, like, I was trying to do this mixtape called Eden, and I was trying to split it into 3 parts.
Eden Red, Eden Blue, and Eden Black.
Yeah, and it was inspired by Pokemon, because you had the red version and then the blue version, and then you had like the special version, which is yellow, you know, the special edition or whatever. And so what I was planning on doing originally was I was having a really hard time, like I wanted to compartmentalize like all the different sounds of music I was making, and I was making very different styles of music all the time, and some of it was like darker, some of it was like more the stuff that you would hear on Ramona, like the kind of jazzy, like romantic type vibes, and then I had the more like club banger type shit, or I guess you would call that just like bars type, you know,
right.
Rappity rap shit, you know. And I want to put all the rappity rap shit on red. I want to put all the, you know, sad, melancholy, love song, jazzy shit on blue, and then all the darker stuff on black. And I was going to release it all at one time. That was the original plan, which was a little too ambitious. By the way, that's just like my fucking advice to new rappers. Like, don't get too ambitious and try to do some shit. Like, just make shit. Like, that's how it worked for me anyway. But I had this whole ambitious plan. And then, like, I think when you came, originally it was just like, we didn't really have like a plan, did we? It was just kind of like, you're going to come down and...
Well, just to sort of give a quick bit of background as to how I ended up in South Carolina. I was actually living in London at the time, and I had dropped out of college. My family and I weren't getting along together for like about a year by that point, and you and I were making music together more and more, and I had formed EXO with you and the guys, and I just sort of wanted things to be happening, and I wanted to record music, and I needed to surround myself with the right people. So it only made sense that I moved in with you, because by that point I felt like we were already practically living together, because we were talking with one another every day for hours on end. So I took a plane to South Carolina and became your roommate or housemate, or whatever you want to call it. And yeah, and of course it was much easier to work on a record, or to motivate you to work on a record.
No, he forced me. There was a point where you would like, you tied me up.
I would tie you up.
Yeah, he would tie me up and just put a microphone in my face and he was doing rap.
It was much easier to motivate you, and actually you motivated me, because sometimes you need the right people who get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think we both had like a similar vision for what we wanted out of like rap music, and like the stuff, just the art that we were making. We had a similar aesthetic. I mean, how could you not? Like, how could you not have a similar aesthetic to someone that you talk to every day? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So it only made sense. And at the time, it totally didn't. Like, I remember like at the time, it being like a huge leap for you. It wasn't as bad for me, but it was still kind of like a okay, I don't know what to expect out of this situation kind of thing, you know? But
it was a big gamble in many ways for me to fly out there and just hope that something would happen. But I just sort of went for it, because I felt like I didn't have much to lose, and I needed to do something that felt like it wasn't necessarily for, you know, academic purposes or a part of a career path plan. It wasn't a move to impress my family or to redeem me in anyone's eyes. It was more so, it was a redemption journey for myself. I felt like I had to do something for me for once. And for me, that was just being with my best friend and working on music in a better environment than I was in prior to moving to South Carolina.
Yeah, I think it worked out. Like at the time, I remember when you left, I had this feeling like, oh, we could have done so much more. But at the same time, like, I feel like we didn't. Like, we could have done so much more.
We definitely could have.
But at the same time, we did a lot. And like, I think it was probably the best thing that could happen to like literally both of us. Like, it was a
great summer.
Yeah, it was a great summer. And it's so funny because everyone always talks about you know, they always hear me do the summertime never ends or talk about summertime. And I know I've probably explained this a few times on different podcasts, but for people who don't know what that means, summertime represents to me. Okay, I had like a really great summer one year. It was like my first year. I just went to college and I basically flunked out. I didn't flunk out, but like I was on academic probation and then I dropped out and I was going to go back. Like I was taking some time off. And I remember that summer after, I was so stressed out at school, but then like I made a whole bunch of friends and like had old friends and like basically had the best time with people ever. Right. And then like I always said, like if you're chasing that summer, right, then you're not messing up. If you're chasing that same feeling you got from that summer, then you're not messing up. And then now it's funny because now when I think about the summer, I think about the summer that you were there. And that's my summer. That's the one I'm chasing. And then I'm trying to make a new summer. And that's like the one that you chase. And it's not about the actual summer. It's about like that state of mind that you're chasing. And if you're working towards something that will give you that same feeling, then you're not messing up in life. That's like that's my biggest philosophy, like just in life, you know?
That's beautiful.
Yeah, just like your butthole, which is on my tiles actually, because they got mixed up for the orders. They switched them around and they're everywhere. They're literally everywhere.
We did a chess pattern sort of deal, you know? The chessboard pattern.
But with our own buttholes.
I really like your definition of summertime.
I've been nostalgic since I was a child. Like that's like nostalgia was like one of my driving factors in like creativity. And I always look back on times that were terrible fondly. You know what I mean? That's just how I work. Sometimes I'll attach to one fleeting moment in a sea of bad things. And like, I remember like, well, at least I had that, like that was a thing, you know, like it's weird because like, I think a perfect example is my grandma, she had a stroke when I was like 13 and it's a terrible stroke. Like the doctors say she should have died, you know, and it left her paralyzed, in parts of her body, you know what I mean? And, it's weird because like, I spent, that Christmas in a hospital, like with her. And now like I'll be in hospitals and it reminds me of like that time. And like you would think I would think of it badly, but I would think of it fondly, like because I was like with her and with my whole family. And, you know, so now like when I'm in hospitals, I think about that. And that's how I get through what most people hate about hospitals. It's like being in hospitals in general. Like most people hate them, you know, but I like them. So.
Man, wow. Well, you know what? That was kind of heavy. So I would like for us to sort of take a break from this conversation to do an ad read.
Woo! Reading the ads.
Hit him with this week's ad, Bill.
Okay. I remember what it is. Let me look at my notes. Let me shuffle through my notes really fast. Shuffle.
Page, it's on page 6, bottom
right.
right.
It's on page 6? Oh, I have to do it 6 times. Shuffle. Okay, Rav, you ever just be walking around the hood and you're just
right.
stepping 1 foot at a time, just 1 foot, left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot, because you're a little weird.
I only use 1 foot.
Oh, okay. So, and you're just thinking, boy, my socks are a little dry today.
That actually surprisingly happens to me almost all of the time.
I know, me too. I'll just be walking through my motherfucking hood spot. Never met a good cop. And I'm thinking to myself, boy, these socks is dry. But I got the technology for you, my friend. I say technology because it uses patented technology. But we'll get into that later. More on that later. YouTubers say that shit a lot. Anyway, so we're YouTubers now, so we can say that, right? More on that later.
So, Bill, do you have a solution for me and my dry ass socks? I mean, God.
Yes. Think no more of your dry feet from the socks that are dry, because I have the perfect solution for you. Wet ass socks.
Oh.
Just put them on your feet. You can hear it just of your foot, you know, because they're always wet. No matter what, you can put them in the dryer, stays wet. Actually kind of makes the other clothes wet too. I don't know what they use. Science is weird, but they put them on your feet. I mean, they'll put it on your feet for you if you got a guy, but you put them on your feet if you don't got a guy. And you just walk around, you know, and just super wet. Would you like to explain this to the people a little bit more? Because I have no idea what I'm talking about.
Wet ass socks is exactly what I needed, what's been missing from my life. I'm just sitting there in the office every morning thinking, God, I hate my life. Also, my feet are dry as hell because of these dry ass socks. But finally, thanks to the wet ass socks that we're being sponsored by today, your feet will be wetter than Kathy Griffin throughout the whole day, every day of the week. And honestly, the best part about all of it is 3 easy payments.
3 easy payments. We accept.
The payments may be the easiest ones ever.
Yeah, they're way easier. They're way easier than any other payments. You just gotta, it can read your mind.
If they were personified and you'd be at the bar with these payments, they'd be coming on strong. Like without you even getting them a drink, they're already like, oh, hey, bad boy. That's how easy these 3 payments are. Am I right, Bill, or am I right?
You are indeed right. And I just want to point out that Kathy Griffin is extremely moist at all times, just like these socks. You can prod them and make a little noise every time, no matter what. Honestly, don't wear these socks if you're on a sneaking mission, because they've definitely got enough moisture to just light up the room with noise. And that's what you want. That's what you want, because you'll walk into the bar that we were talking about just a few seconds ago in this metaphor. Walk in, they hear you coming in, right? And they're just like, and these women, they go like, ooh, he's got it together. You know? They look at him and they say, he must have a good 401k, because that boy's socks moist.
As the Germans say, ich bin sehr feucht. And so are we.
They also say, mein Flicken.
I just hope that one day in some poor old village in the Republic of Starvaria, which is next to Hungary, poor kids from the village living in huts made of their own feces and semen, I hope they get an opportunity to wear socks that aren't dry for once. Thank you very much. This was We Don't Suck.
Yeah, and just for $0.25 a day, you can buy some newspaper subscriptions.
There are plans. There are annual plans. There are monthly plans. You can set up a mortgage on these. You can set up a mortgage/loan plan for these socks.
Can I side note segue out of this, because we're seamless transition gods and that's what we do?
You're doing it right now.
Exactly. I don't know why I asked you, because I know the answer, because I am God. Anyway, so speaking of crazy sounding German words I don't know, there's this girl I know, and she calls everyone mein Schmetterling, which sounds terrifying, but apparently it means my butterfly in German. Like, she just walks in the room and she's just like, how are you, mein Schmetterling?
My fiance, she has like the opposite thing where I get her to say really disgusting stuff in French, and yet it still sounds romantic. Like, I got her to say something like a dog vomiting in its own mouth and then swallowing it. And it sounded fucking romantic.
That's beautiful. What a beautiful language of love.
Yeah.
I always say German is the language of love.
Hold on, Bill. Listen to this.
Huddle. Well, that's good.
Das ist gutes Wasser.
So the vase is good.
Yes.
Yeah, I know a little bit of Germanic.
Dude, as the Russians say, у меня в жопе карандаш.
You're a real fucking Schmetterling for this one.
Did you see the latest local paper? They say that Poe has finally been taken to court for the domestic terrorism allegations.
Yeah, I read that in my local paper when I was reading up on my local sports ball team. They're doing good this semester.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that they put it in a local sports newspaper, but hey.
Well, I gotta say, fake news, brother. You know what I'm saying? Everybody give it up. It's Christina Applegate. She's looking good this year. Good girl.
You know what? No.
What?
No.
What did you just
I
fucking say?
am not going to give it up to Christina Applegate. You know what? I've had enough. She's an okay looking woman. All right, Bill? I'm going to have to draw the line here. You know, I disagree with you every now and then, but I don't mind. But this time, I think you've crossed the fucking line.
You get the fuck off my podcast.
But yeah, as you were saying, Bill, Ramona, trash ass record.
Yeah, I've been saying it for a few years now, but people keep, agreeing with me.
The thing is, just to actually go back into that conversation, I remember you had recorded Conversations with Gravity a year or two before Ramona was released. I think a year before Ramona was released.
Yeah, it was, I think it was 2013. There was a couple of songs on there that were recorded before. I'm pretty sure Black Coffee was done 2013 it was 2014 because I said it just turned 2014. And I had that line about like it's 2014 where the song for the ladies, but it was like right in like January or something.
That's still probably my favorite song off the record, the Conversations with Gravity. I remember listening to it and thinking this giving just the sound and everything, the how introspective you were, how your voice was on top of it, and how the beat sounded gave me this weird sense of nostalgia. And I remember just thinking, like, I wish there was more music like this.
You could take me to a special place, tooth and nail labor, face it, canines be metal laced. Learn from your experience and never let a lesson waste. The circle never ends, goddamn this depressing shape. Wounds fester under pressure, feel your necklace break. The contact with gravity, no neckties or nooses. My feet were made for running, not for rest time or juking. Watch the footwork, quarter circle, left, right, Hadouken. Alcohol with no X time for proof and triple that. Not a baller, riders dribble back, tripping splat. Face first, no wonder why my face hurts. It's killing you, I gotta ask, who is Kill Bill to you? Nostrils wide with the intake, demigod walking all sparking, that's for rent's sake. She wanna be my boo, but she just ended up my sensei. Dodo songs, smoking slow-mo bongs, speed up. But bomb vomit, I blow the fire, then fire palm it. I'm fine, honest, it goes nausea, then blood flow. And my mantra is snub nose, belly two next to you. I'm trying to be a better dude, but fuck what I've invested, true. I just wanna stay next to you, till there's nothing here left but you. Let me fall, I just wanna feel the ground.
So when I went over to South Carolina and we started working on Ramona, like after we had figured out that, maybe Eden wasn't the move. And what about we just focused on Eden Blue, which eventually became Ramona, right? I remember as you started recording more songs and you had a couple of songs here and there, that feeling was permeating the entire record. And to me, that's when I knew, like, this is a special record. Remember when, like, people would come in and out of the house just, like, dropping by, kicking it, and we'd be playing, like, a joint or two off Ramona? Mm-hmm. People would be like, yo, that shit is dope, yo, that shit is wild. Like, I knew that nobody had heard anything like that before then.
Yeah, that was a thing. There's a particular moment I think of where it was, like, our buddy Cam and a couple of his friends came over, and I was, like, mixing down, I think, Slow Jam Moogie, and
yeah,
like I was just chilling in there, like it was just like everybody was just like chilling in the sesh, and I was just mixing that down, and I felt like I was annoying people because I had to keep playing the song over and over and over again. And then like Cam like came up to me like while we were doing it, he was like, "This shit's magical," and I was just like, that made me feel a certain type of way, in a good way, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it made me feel really good and like confident. Like literally just him saying that like helped a lot. You know what I mean? And it's really weird because like at that period of my life, I felt like such a loser, like all the time. Like I don't know what it was, but I felt like a real fucking like dweeb.
I mean, you still are.
I mean, yeah. But like at the time, I feel like now I feel a lot more confident in myself, and not just my music, but as a person, I feel a little bit more like I'm definitely a lot more like extroverted now as to then, like then I'd get like anxiety just like talking to people sometimes, and that now I don't really as bad, sometimes I do, but usually it's like got a direct causation instead of just like generalized anxiety. And like now I feel so much more confident just in my art and talking about my art to people. But like back then I almost felt like not ashamed or something, but like this is just like this weird thing I've been working on and they won't understand it. Like that's how I've always looked at it, you know? And it's weird because that's like been my most popular record so far. You know what I mean?
Even to this day, nothing sounds quite like that. And it is just, it's a very personal record too. And I listen to it almost every day and it still takes me back to that summer, but also kind of makes me think about who you are as a person and like
a complete idiot.
Yeah, an absolute fucking madman, you know? No, but it's almost a coming of age because I feel like you matured as a person when you were working on this record. Because prior to that, you know, coming from Newgrounds, like from the outside looking in, I saw someone really mature. You know what I mean? Like you really went from doing the goofy ass Newgrounds songs that you were doing to making Ramona. And of course it wasn't just like a overnight jump. I saw you started, you know, all the pre-Ramona songs that you started working on and you were developing your style, getting comfortable and talking about how you feel. And you were amazing at putting words together. It was, I don't know, to this day I still look back at it and think of it as such an incredibly important moment in time.
Well, that means a lot to me, man. Like that whole time was great. Just well, I mean, I want to just talk about how I feel the same way kind of about you at the same time too, because I remember there was a like, because I really enjoyed like Hyperkinesis like as a record, which I would consider your first like canon release, you know what I mean? And I still really enjoy that record.
No, thank you.
I mean, it's weird listening to like my stuff on there because and I mean you sound a lot younger, you know what I mean? But like I think you were onto something at the time, and you might disagree with me on this because I know you really don't like that record anymore or whatever, but like,
yeah.
I think you were onto a sound at the time that like nobody was like really clicking on, like they didn't get it yet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That would like later go on to, because I consider Beneath the Toxic Jungle and Ramona to be in the same universe. Like they're I consider them almost like the same. Like you could do a playlist, start with Ramona or start with Beneath the Toxic Jungle and end with the latter of whatever, you know, and it would flow like it was a record. You know what I mean? Like just like a long, like extremely long, like a double disc almost. You know what I mean?
And there was a bit of an overlap in the recording process because I already started recording Beneath the Toxic Jungle before we finished Ramona, and then I released Beneath the Toxic Jungle the year after you dropped Ramona. And you know what? I see where you're coming from in terms of the hyperkinesis joints, because Lost Reason, I feel like sort of was the precursor to what a lot of my sound had eventually become. And it's crazy to think now that song is like 7.5 years old or something.
Yeah, it's pretty old, and it doesn't sound old. That Lost Reason is my favorite on there. Like I forgot about it, like, and I went back and listened to it. Somebody made, I think it might have been Bruce, but it was somebody who was like associated with Bruce, like posted AMV using that, and I forgot about it, and I was like, holy shit. I remember first hearing that again, or like hearing it again years later, and was like, holy shit, that was a fucking slap.
I built a house, burn it down, built another one. The other bitch just laughed, caught it by the sun. So tired but proud of my achievements. I found the belief, but lost the reason. I built a house, burn it down, built another one. The other bitch just laughed, caught it by the sun. Yeah, so tired but proud of my achievements. I found the belief, but lost the reason. The beholder was blind, the beauty is benign. Conceptual paradox behind infected eyes, disconnected from the mind, but in line with the flow of life regardless. So of course it gives light. You don't have to be able to see to open another person's eyes and help them perceive responsibilities. It's something I don't need. I built a house, burned it down, built another one.
And my least favorite part of the record is my verses, because I feel like I say the phrase swag on ball Z. That's pretty bad.
I don't blame you. I had worse. I feel like I hate all my parts on there. Abandoned was bearable, and Lost Reason was bearable. Vicodin was almost bearable.
I think Vicodin's a classic. Like, I think Vicodin's one of those joints that, like, I could tell, like, it was like you were young and still, like, developing your sound. But I think Vicodin is like that's a slap. You could perform that at a show now and people would fucking go wild. In my opinion, I think it would, you know.
You're just sweet. What is your personal favorite song of Ramona? I'm sure every song has its own special place in your heart, but is there one record that you find yourself coming back to more than others?
I mean, it's weird because it's like listening to it now, it feels like I didn't even make it because it was so long ago. You know what I mean? I think probably my favorite just to come back to is, I think Black Coffee is pretty good. I just love that beat. Ito Lee made that beat, and that beat is just fucking nuts. And I think that's a Peggy Lee sample in there, and like that's like the best flip you could possibly do of that sample. If you've heard the original of that and then that beat, it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? It sounds like almost completely different. But Black Coffee is one. Conversations with Gravity is one. But I have some kind of like weird anxiety listening to it too, because it reminds me of like I was trying to do that music video and it's such a wordy song, and it was like I couldn't get the
oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, we posted up under that bridge. Yeah.
What about Last Night?
That's a good one. It's really old though. Like I like it. I like the song, but it's kind of weird because like it's about like an old relationship I had that was like it ended pretty salty, kind of a salty thing. She ended up cheating on me, or I learned about that like much later in my life. And yeah, I knew by the time that I recorded the last parts of it, but it was kind of like a weird closure to that part of my life, not necessarily with her, because I really don't give. I was like so far removed from that situation. It was years after that I was finishing the song, you know, and it was more about like how I dealt with it. You know what I'm saying?
My head splitting wide open, and it's from sipping my potion. And life tends to kick divine motions. I feel my inner mind's hopeless. Nucleosis, I am one, I am mono, I am the solitude. I couldn't even write a rhyme or fucking swallow food. And bitch, you had the fucking nerve to say that I didn't try. You scaled my whole world back, I would've died by your side. I'm not a violent guy, but shit, I threw a chair or two, knife edge to the chest. Now why you going Ric Flair, dude? My head's still splitting wide open, and it's from sipping my potion.
I wake up, you're still there, I'm in pain. You been there, you know me, you love me, cause I'm gone and I'll see you later. I've gone away. I checked in, I checked out, I'm moving, I records like Uzi, Alushi. Now I'm gone and I'll see you later, but not today.
Like the first verse, it's really weird because like the first verse was recorded like right after, like maybe like 6 to 7 months after I broke up with that girl, and then like the hook and like the beat was all made like pretty early. It was like 2012, you know, and then like we didn't finish it until 2014, you know. So it's kind of weird. I like how it turned out though, but I don't think it's my favorite on there though. I think Black Coffee, I like Conversations with Gravity a lot just because of how, I don't know, it felt like really like stream of conscious-y, which is like
yeah,
I feel like it's harder to write like that now, just to like let the pen go, you know what I'm saying? Like now I try to focus more, you know. But that one, and
you know what, it's interesting because looking back at it, the process, we didn't actually even get into the process of recording. The experience for the most part was pretty relaxing. We would record, then, you know, hop onto the sofa and play some fighting games, play GTA, play Street Fighter, Third Strike, Marvel vs. Capcom, hop on back behind the microphone, do some stuff. And sort of, it didn't feel like we had to sit there and record or anything like that. We kind of let it happen naturally. But then we put out a deadline, And I'm glad we did, but it was hard to meet the deadline in the face of many technical issues that we came across, as well as some health issues.
Yeah, basically what happened was I had my computer was giving me a lot of problems. I don't know if it was my interface or just I think it was just the computer was a piece of shit. But basically up until its eventual death, like from the day I got it, I had some pretty bad problems with it. Just it would blue screen kind of randomly when I was recording. Sometimes you would be recording and then there would be like this weird static noise in the back. I couldn't find a reason. Like I remember like taking it to like several different people and they were like, oh, we can't find anything wrong with it. You know what I mean? And I'm like, okay, like what the fuck? You know what I mean? And like later on, like we replaced the RAM, we replaced like a bunch of whole other stuff and it would like fix it temporarily and then it would just start acting up again. Anyway, then on top of that, like I had mono like when I was like, it was like 2010, I had mono. And like in like super rare cases, it can like just like you can have a random surge of it happen again. And like I'm pretty sure that was what was happening with me because I was just wanting to sleep all the time. And I was like, I think I was depressed, but it was like just because I felt bad all the time. And like I went through this like really heavy stint of just like feeling terrible like all the time. And it was like when we were recording and stuff like that. And you were kind of going through something similar as well, weren't you?
I was, and I blame our sort of the furious, intense makeout sessions for it.
Yeah, it probably did. It didn't help that like we were just making out 24/7. Yeah. I don't know if I was even contagious at that point because I remember going to the doctor about it. It was like, you have mono. And I was just like, I already had mono and you can't like have mono twice, right? And then he was just like, well, in very rare cases, it can just like happen again. And yeah, and I had like a good solid like 4 to 5 month flare up. And I was like, I thought I had cancer or something. Cause like I remember going and I felt terrible all the time. And like I went to the doctor like twice and they were like, we don't know what's wrong with you. And they did a whole bunch of tests on me and they didn't find anything.
And there was something definitely happening with me. I remember just running out of air very quickly whenever we were trying to record. And I even had that, like, the really intense panic attack.
Well, you were like, I'm pretty sure you were sick with like bronchitis or something and then had a panic attack on top of it or something like that.
Probably, something like that. And it was the combination of sort of having that and the faulty equipment was such a nightmare because we would be recording a verse. And as you record it, and you're looking at the wave, it didn't look fucked up. It looked fine, right? You wouldn't know whether it had distorted or not until you'd finish recording and play it back. So sometimes you'd sort of give it your all, have the perfect take, and then, you know, get super psyched, you know, yeah, play it back. And then you play it back and it's all distortion. And it was just... And it would happen over and over and over again, and it was so exhausting to do it physically. It was very exhausting.
Here's like what that all sums up to is like, imagine recording a take and it being flawless, like the first or second time you do it, and you're like, damn, this was a good take. And then like you realize you can only salvage like the first 3 bars. Okay. And then so you're like, oh, okay, well, let me just start over because like, what's the point of like, it's going to sound disjointed if I like do a take after those first 2 bars or whatever, you know what I mean? So let me just start over. Then you do it again and then like it doesn't fuck up, but like your energy is not right. So you have to do another take. And so like, imagine like all this stuff that could have been solved in a 1 take verse takes like an hour, you know what I mean? And I think that was like partially why I think like there was so much like anxiety that comes with it. But like when it was done, I was so happy and I was like, holy shit, we really put a lot of effort into this. And I remember like even talking about deadlines and stuff. Like I remember trying to like I had like a week to get it finished, mixed, mastered, have the cover done, everything, you know? And so I was like freaking out, but I had a job. I had a day job where I only worked like 3 days a week or something though. It was like a student job. And I remember like the day of, I had to do like 2 things and then also master the record. And I was like, okay, like I could rush it and have it done at like 8 when it's supposed to come out. Okay. And like, I remember I had like a very small following on Tumblr, but I was like, I can't let these people down. I had like 100 people who actually sort of gave a fuck. And I was like, I can't let these people
and
down.
some people that came from hyperkinesis as well.
Yeah. And I was just like, I can't let these people down. I gotta get it done. And I remember like I was like, I got it. I get off at 5. It takes me 15 minutes to get home. As soon as I get back, I can record the verse. I could do this. I could do that. I ended up not being able to make it in time, which is good because I would have completely screwed that up, you know, if I would have tried to do it all in 3 hours. And then like I ended up staying up till like 4 or 5 a.m. finishing it. It was done at 5. And then I remember taking it into my room and just listening to it until the sun came up. And I was like, okay, this is good. I think this is it, you know? And like I tried to listen to it just as a listener and not as a, does this verse sound good? Because I know I had to record this 20 times. So does it sound good, or do I sound like out of breath or whatever? You know what I mean? I was just like, fuck it, it's done. And then I think it turned out good.
Yeah, I think it turned out great. And actually, one thing just I wanted to add, then you ended up recording, we went over to Kubrick's house to record one of the songs. And I don't remember whether it was partially because the technical issues were getting so annoying that we just needed to get that song done. Was it Overflow?
Yeah, it was Summertime Overflow. And it was because at the time, I think my interface completely gave out on me. And I was so broke and I couldn't afford to get a new one. And I think I got it fixed, but like, or I fixed it myself or whatever. But I was so broke and I couldn't get another one. And I'm glad we did, because the way that song turned out, I think is pretty cool, because the way the mic is mixed is his microphone, and he did he partially mixed it for me. And then I finished the final mix down. And there's also like this other little thing that I think sounds really cool that like a lot of people don't notice, but like it's actually a little bit off time, like because of the way he sent it to me, and it was like a few milliseconds off. So I had to like fix it, right? But it ended up sounding cooler because it was like, it sounded like some kind of weird swing time, but it's not exactly how I recorded it originally. And like no one would ever like pick up on that, but like I heard it, you know? And I think that's kind of cool. And like the way the mic is mixed, you know?
I know this bad girl with a scooter. She flipped my shit sideways. Summers off of fire escape, sunsets, sticky icky flowers in the blunt. Yes, I wanna get her undressed, hickey biting rough sex. But anyway, she don't pay me no mind. She just comes through the smoke for the daily unwind. And Miss Thang with a sideways ponytail talking, and I try to listen to her, but I'm holy grail stalking. I love it when she whisper my name too. Blood red hair, eyes crippin' a dang blue. Green weave falling out a loose brown. When I look inside her eyes, it's like I'm in a new town. Move around, I'm stuck, frozen. I feel my heartbeat, it's about to bust open. Why the fuck am I just sitting here? Cause when you leave the room, none of them feelings ever seem to disappear. It's been a year and some change, and it's clear that you've changed. It's been a year and some change, and it's clear that you've changed. So why summertime gotta end? It's been a year and some change, and it's clear that you've changed. It's been a year and some change, and it's clear that you've changed. So why summertime gotta end? Some people chase drugs.
Any thoughts in conclusion? Like looking back at Ramona now, 4 years later, what does it mean to you?
I mean, honestly, if I could go back in time and just like pat myself on the back after it was done, and just be like, it's gonna be all right, buddy. You know? Like, I wish I could do that.
If I could go back in time and shoot you before you produce the master, I'd probably do it.
I was just thinking about how different our lives would probably be if we didn't release like both of those records. I was thinking about that the other day, like having like just like a sad, just normal ass life. I have a sad life now. I think we all have sad lives, but like just a normal ass life where you don't have any kind of like creative satisfaction. That's what it sounds like. Because I feel like I would have just stopped. Like if that record didn't come out, then I would have just stopped doing it. Or I would have kept rapping, but it would have just been like this aimless thing like it was before, you know? So this episode's been kind of heavy, man. Let's talk about your boobs.
You know what? It has been heavy, so let's talk about...
You're just gonna ignore the fact that I just hit you with the hardest guitar solo, air guitar solo that you're ever gonna fucking hear in your life, and you're just gonna just act like that shit ain't happened.
Hit me again.
Can
you do double time? Double the double time. Now do quarter time. I didn't say 4,000%. I said like quarter time.
I'm so glad people pay for this content.
This is why I don't live with you no more.
Dude, you're just mad because I ate your ice cream.
I'm just mad because you ate my ass cream.
Yeah, dude, Preparation H tastes good. You know what I'm saying, brother? What? So, how about this whole, how about Eminem being white? Real weird, huh?
Hey, what's up with the airplane food, huh?
Imagine being the first dude who ever make the airplane food joke.
Do you think he's still alive?
It wasn't Seinfeld?
Is he still alive?
I don't think so. I think he was killed long ago and sealed away. Before he was sealed away with the rest of the other evils that we don't speak about.
I'm glad Seinfeld
is dead.
Has been sealed away and banished into the shadow realm.
Finally, we
Long
can live
last.
Live life. I can't talk today. Finally, we can live. Oh God, my chair just exploded because of my huge dong.
Do you record sitting down?
Yeah, I do. Do you record hanging upside down like I thought you do?
I record standing on the wall.
Oh, okay. Do you just like Velcro your shoes?
Gravity ain't shit, bitch.
Dude, how about those millennials, huh? Get them out of here.
Dude, I've been saying that. I hate millennials. By the way, just so we're on the same page, millennials are those who are like 1,000 years old or over.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. People who are
Because
older than...
Because they've lived a millennia, so...
Yeah, that's what I thought it meant. What if like everybody who like complained about millennials was just talking about people who would live to be over 1,000 years old? Just be sitting there like, what if you just... instead of saying millennials, like the ancient ones. So it's just like... Bo, I was at the store the other day, Bo, and I saw the ancient ones, and they just wouldn't stay off their cell phones.
Yo, I'm tired of these ancient ones and their PC agenda. The fucking leftist.
The leftist ancient ones.
Yo, from now on, that's it. Okay, if we gotta spread this, guys. I'm sick of people using the word millennials. You know, let's all get together and start using the correct set of terms. That's right, the ancient ones.
Dude, you're just saying what everybody's thinking, you know?
We've all been thinking it. I mean, someone's got to stand up and...
I love it. I love when people say we've all been thinking it on the internet because it'll be like the most fucking like terrible thing ever. And they just assume that everyone's thinking it. They'll just be like, well, we should just kill them all. We're all thinking it. We're all thinking it, Bo. I don't mean to get political on here, but you know, I just think the ancient ones need to be fucking sealed away. Sorry, I don't like to get political, but the ancient ones need to go.
Yo, what's up with all these ancient ones playing Fortnite all the time? What happened to the good old Counter-Strike?
I mean, I'm sure it's there. I'm so like out of touch with like gaming like Fortnite because like I've never played Fortnite in my life.
The first time I played was over at Matt's house.
How was it?
It's alright. It's cool.
I mean, I tried playing what was that one game? I was just bad at it. It's another
PUBG?
PUBG. I played PUBG like twice.
You know
and
what
then,
PUBG stands for, right?
What does it stand for?
Wow, what a dumbass. Potentially unique butter groin.
I thought it meant pretty ugly baby grandma, because like your grandma looks like a baby because she's so ugly and also pretty. Yeah, your grandma.
Petite underground banana Godzilla.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking pungent underbelly, like UB, like pungent underbelly. What do you think of that?
Pretty underwhelming bacon girl.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. Like, it's a girl, she's made of bacon, not really up to snuff.
Do you think most of our audience is comprised of the ancient ones?
I think so, man. Aren't we technically? Are we millennials?
We are technically the ancient ones, yes.
Oh, sorry, I meant the ancient ones. We're all thinking it.
Anyone up until like 36 or something like that?
That's not accurate, though. I don't think 36 is a millennial ancient one.
Hold on, let me check.
I think, when does Gen Z start?
So the term millennials generally refers to the generation of people born between the early 1980s and 1990s.
That's weird.
So it's, I guess, anyone who grew up sort of in the 80s and 90s. And
Run
that's
up
where,
on like a 35-year-old and just be like, get this ancient one out of here.
Yeah.
With their cell phones.
How does it feel like being an ancient one?
That's pretty cool.
If you're an ancient one, hit like, subscribe, hit the bell, leave a comment.
Leave your social security number.
Leave your social security number as a comment, and then like your own comment, and then reply to your own comment going, nice. And then report that comment.
The nice. Just report the nice.
Just the nice one, yeah. Report that one for physical abuse.
For nudity.
For nudity.
Report it for nudity.
Reported for nudity.
Speaking of, one of my videos got taken down and reported for nudity on YouTube. Oh no, the hurricane's here. No.